Hello, everybody, and welcome to show 8 of 9 from the week of Radio Row, PHLY Eagles, presented by Bet365 and Ace Hardware Home Services. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365, and please do visit acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. We are here as the atmosphere is starting to dwindle behind us. A busy day on Radio Row. Bo Wulf, Jamie Lynch, Les Bowen, Zach Berman. Zach, how you doing?
Long time no see.
Long time no see. How you doing? You know what? It seems like you have a little more energy than you did a couple hours ago.
Did I lack energy a couple hours ago?
I'm just saying you have more energy. You seem like you've got a little more of a pep in your step.
Yeah, no, I feel great. I'm excited.
Been getting lots of sleep.
Yeah. You know, I'm not worried about that. Honestly, I'm thinking it's a little melancholy that today was the last day talking to the players here.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the last day of two-a-days, podcast-wise.
Oh, yeah, that as well. But no, it was a productive week talking to the players, the assistant coaches in particular, and excited for this show, excited for tomorrow's show, and then turn the attention to Sunday.
We'll have a couple interesting interviews to play on this show that were captured today. We talked to Zach's old radio colleague from his Syracuse days, Nick Wright, who cuts a nice heel promo against the Eagles. The man knows what he's doing.
I'm pretty sure everybody in Philadelphia loves Nick Wright.
Well,
I do.
I think it's fun.
He even gave me a love you.
I think he's very good at his job.
He's incredible.
Yeah, he leaned into it.
Marcus Allen with a little perspective
Heard
on
of him.
Saquon Barkley. And then Geoff Schwartz to break down the Eagles' offensive line, and Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, the things that they need to do against the Chiefs. Les, how are you? How was your day today?
You know, it was a pretty darn good day, Bo. I skipped the Chiefs' availability this morning. I felt bad, but I am here as a retiree who's just sort of writing stuff. You know, I'm not an Eagles beat writer anymore.
Sure.
So I had got to the Chiefs all the other days, and I felt like I had gleaned the knowledge I needed.
I mean, you were getting after it with Donovan McNabb last night.
Yeah, D-Mac. D-Mac was never that glad to see me 20 years ago. But last night, you know, it was like we were long-lost buddies. It was heartwarming.
What did you guys talk about?
Oh, you know, nothing, the usual stuff, kids and, you know, small talk kind of thing.
His son is a big-time wide receiver prospect out in Arizona.
Yes. So, you know, we didn't spend hours together, but it was very nice. You know, that came on the heels of Wednesday morning, the longest ever conversation I had with Carson Wentz. Much longer than any that were possible back when he was the Eagles quarterback. I feel like, you know, if you wait long enough, I don't know, tragedy becomes comedy or comedy becomes tragedy or something like that. I don't know. But people get to different places in their lives. I think Carson was not unglad to see me.
And you see someone who
I disagree with that.
Reminds you of a different time. Go ahead, Zach. What do you disagree with?
I don't think he was glad to see us.
I don't think he minded it.
Oh, yeah.
I have when Carson was drafted, I went to the draft in Chicago, and I met all the reporters from, Fargo. And so there's a guy, Dom Izzo, who has a radio show there, and he and I would commiserate as Carson got more and more remote.
Yeah.
The people in Fargo couldn't even get a word with Carson Wentz. And Carson agreed to do like half an hour on the guy's show this week. Because Carson needs a job after Sunday.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Super chat from Frank, who says, how much caffeine have you had since the last live show ended?
None. Since the last live show ended, none.
Good for you.
Good to know.
Jamie, you're on a coffee. How you doing?
Doing all right. Yeah, it was a long day. Walking a lot of miles down here in Nala.
Yeah.
I think I'm averaging over 9 a day right now.
Do you go Nala?
Nola?
Nola.
Nola?
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
go Nola.
I think I
You're
started
gonna
Nollins
go for
and
Nolans,
then I
and then
cross
yeah.
streamed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, we're all feeling it.
Yeah, Jamie said to me today, Jamie's like, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
Chase Daniel Plainview with the Super Chat says, is it odd that Lurie said triple threat QB a lot?
No, he leans into Jalen's mind as well. Arm, legs, mind.
That must hurt. How do you lean into a mind?
Yeah, I don't know.
Lean into the Jalen being a smart quarterback.
The Vulcans could do that on Star Trek.
Sure.
They could.
Les, we had an interesting conversation on the show last night. We did not get your take on this. Do you remember your first kiss?
I'm not sure that I do, actually. I mean, that's a long time ago. You know, the Earth was still cooling. There were dinosaurs roaming around.
You were covering Marcus Allen?
Yeah, I don't know. God, that was – yeah, I honestly don't.
Must not have made quite an impression. That's all right. Do you remember your last kiss?
You know, I'm not sure. Donovan last night. No.
Who did you talk to at availability today, Les?
You
you
know,
have a
sat
story
down,
to tell.
I do. I have a story to tell. I sat down with Jamal Singleton, the Eagles running backs coach, who was not a man I had ever met because I stopped covering the Eagles on a day-to-day basis about the time he was hired, not too long after that. So I was prepared to, explain the whole deal. I covered the Eagles for the Inquirer and the Daily News for a long time, and now I'm here for PHLY, blah, blah, blah. And so I say, hey, I'm Les Bowen, and Jamal Singleton's eyes light up, and he says, I've been waiting 3.5 years.
Whoa.
Really?
I'm
And-
jealous now.
And you're not going to believe this. Apparently, during the Eagles-Denver game in 2021, which was in Denver, I went there with it. I actually wrote a piece for the Inquirer, even though it was after my retirement.
Okay.
The premise was I have a son in Denver, Matt, and my other son, Dan, and I flew out to Denver, and I actually watched an Eagles game with my sons for the first time ever because I was covering the team all those years and couldn't do that. So we watched the Eagles beat the Broncos, and apparently during the game, I tweeted, oh, my gosh, they left Kenny Gainwell to block a defensive tackle. That worked out well, or something along those lines. So Jamal goes into this very long and elaborate description of all the things that broke down that ended up with Kenny Gainwell blocking this defensive line.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
And he'd been waiting 3.5 years to
based on one
explain
tweet.
that he did not leave Kenny Gainwell.
That's
That's
great.
funny.
That's
That is
amazing.
Yes.
And it
That is
kind of
awesome.
the interview got off to a poor start because I was just sitting there.
And you don't remember that?
What else have I ever written about anything tangentially
my
related to him
God.
at all?
Yes.
Think about how many tweets you fired off in the middle of
Yeah.
games that get the head coach or get to assistant
Yeah, the
coaches.
fun thing about that is to now think
Yeah.
back of
Yeah.
the tweets that you did not expect anyone to ever see
Sure.
or notice
Yes.
that Jamal Singleton was
Yes,
scrolling around.
he didn't have any further updates for me, but I'm going to be real
fascinating.
careful Sunday. I can tell you that, especially when it comes to running backs blocking.
Zach, does this contextual make you think any differently about the tweets that you've sent? Anything untoward about Jamal Singleton over the years?
I don't think I've sent untoward tweets.
Why would you? Yeah.
As it is, but no,
Yeah, I'm more
Yeah.
susceptible to that sort of thing than you are. I've gotten in a lot of trouble over the years in
I like
various
Jamal
forums.
Singleton. I like him more now.
I always enjoy talking to Jamal. Fascinating military background.
Yeah.
E.J. Smith did a good piece on him 3.5 years ago.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah, Jamal, he was going to be, maybe a lot of the folks out there know, but he was going to be a jet pilot. He was going to fly A-10s, and that was his whole focus. He knew he wasn't a pro running back. He was a decent running back at the Air Force Academy. On a very good team. I'd kind of forgotten that until I looked it up today. They were 12-1 and ranked 13th in the
remember
country. You would, even though you were 4 years old. I didn't remember that. I remembered Fisher DeBerry was the head coach. That was about it. But, Jamal had no intentions of making football his life. He had been born on an Army base, Air Force base, and thought he was going to fly jets, and got an opportunity to help out with a prep school there, I guess, and coach, and suddenly decided to leave the pilot program and become a football coach. So, yeah, good guy.
All right. Well,
That's all I got.
What
no,
more is there to say about Jamal Singer? That's fantastic.
But my
Check
premise
out-
was that he has a pretty easy job coaching Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, check-
And he
I know
actually
Saquon
he
has
leaned
said
into that very well.
Okay.
He said when he first got to the NFL, he was very self-conscious about the fact that he had not been an NFL running back. But his first guy was Frank Gore in Indianapolis. And Frank Gore,
Eagle legend.
told him, don't ever assume that I know something. Just go ahead and
good,
tell
yeah.
me. And,
Okay.
and he was able. Gore actually, there was one thing in particular he described to me. It's in my story that's on our website right now, that Gore was like, hey, nobody ever told me that. And then years later, because Frank Gore played until he was 80, Frank Gore was in Buffalo, and Jamal gets a message on his phone, hey, I tried that backside cut that you talked about. So, anyway, he had gotten over the lack of personal expertise in doing this stuff by the time he got to Philadelphia. So coaching Barkley hasn't been as, he doesn't hesitate to offer him tips. And Barkley's the kind of guy that isn't going to say, who are you to
And I think he's made him a better player. Fran has talked about this. For all of the things about how the situation is much better for Saquon Barkley here, he is also a slightly different player here. He is following holes a little bit better, less susceptible to bounce stuff outside. Now, maybe that is because he can trust the line more than he could in New York, but I think he is obviously getting the most of himself somehow.
Yeah, I agree. I also talked to Will Shipley, who has great hair. Man, I was so envious of that hair. You don't really see that during the games on TV. You don't pick up on these
pesky
nuances.
Helmets. Yeah. Who do you think's got the best hair on the team, Zach?
Best hair on the team.
Yeah.
Depends. Depends what you're looking for.
Sure.
In a hairdo. I mean, I like a nice tight cut. Right.
You're a fade man.
I'm a fade man. So I would go Jalen. Jalen's got a nice. Jalen's always got a good fade going. But if you want like the flowing locks, then go Nick Gates.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call those flowing. I would call them greasy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
No offense to the great Nick Gates.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, pops up on the injury report today, Zach, out of nowhere. What do you
Yes.
think? What do you think? You think there might be a bit of a game afoot?
Yeah. So he has a groin injury. A
bit of a game of groin.
Yes. So he was limited today. Showed up on the injury report, and just to let everyone know, if Brandon Graham plays Sunday, and we're expecting him to play Sunday, he needs to go on the 53-man roster. So the Eagles would then need to cut someone who's been practicing all week with them, or you need to place someone on injured reserve, right? You can't place someone on injured reserve unless they're on the injury report. So my guess here is that Nick Gates, it's like the week that Donnell Pumphrey kind of showed up on the injury report, so the Eagles could put him on IR. Nick Gates, who was not going to be active this weekend, right? He hasn't been active in games. It's been Brett Toth has been active. That Nick Gates gets placed on IR on Saturday. Brandon Graham gets put on the 53-man roster. Nick still gets to be with the team.
Yeah.
Nothing changes for him, like salary-wise, anything like that.
This explains. I saw Big Dom kicking Nick Gates in the groin. I wasn't sure what that was about, but
And he thought to himself that this Nick Gates the need to cut a player.
There you go. You know who has the
Thank you very much.
You know who's the best on the Eagles is Nick Muse.
Yeah, the best.
Well, Nick Muse, who hasn't been.
You found yourself a bit of inspiration with Nick Muse.
Oh, because he's a Muse.
Oh, God.
Look at that. This is best host in the city right here. I'm telling you. So Nick Muse, got signed to the practice squad late last week. Okay, so he gets the free trip to the Super Bowl. He gets to be the tight end in practice. He's on the sideline in the Super Bowl. He gets a ring if they win. He didn't have to do training camp. He didn't do any. He just shows up now. He probably doesn't even know anyone's name. Like this is
How demeaning. You don't think he's been doing anything? You think he's been just sitting at home on the couch watching?
No. My point is, he gets to come in right now for.
But he was on the team before for a couple weeks on the practice squad.
1 week.
Right? 1 week.
1 week. Yes.
Okay.
During the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you spit in his face.
reminiscent of Jeff Thomason 20 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. What was his job when he got called up?
Construction worker.
Construction, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a construction supervisor. But
Yeah.
yeah, he had played my first year on the beat, 2002, he was a backup tight end. Back in those days, football was so primitive that the long snapper, Mike Bartram, also played tight end and caught touchdown passes and stuff.
Zach, a super chat from Millers who says, ZB, who do you think has the worst hair on the 53?
Well, there's some people who have no hair, so therefore they don't qualify.
I mean, Jamie's sitting right here,
No,
man.
but that's not – no, I'm saying that's not the worst hair. So the worst hair –
yeah, I
We're
think
an
that-
NA.
yeah.
I don't know how to judge that.
I'll go
Well,
Cam Jurgens.
Yeah, that is.
Looks like he ought to be sitting in the back of a pickup truck in Mississippi. What the hell?
He makes good jerky.
Yeah.
This man went to college. You know, I mean,
You could have
Am I
two
wrong?
different people sitting at the end. For 6 years, Bo has wanted me to share what I think. Okay, you're his dream co-host here.
because I don't have to go in the locker room. Cam Jurgens, unless he does the Jamal Singleton 5 years from now, but when am I going to see Cam Jurgens?
Well,
I'm leaving here tomorrow.
I just need to tell you, Vinny Curry said 60 to 70% of the locker room watches this show.
Well,
Maybe not this particular episode, but they watch
but they don't know where I live.
That's true.
Steve with a super chat says it was discussed preseason and probably dismissed as the risk not being worth the reward. But what do you think about having Saquon Barkley returning kicks in this game?
No.
Absolutely not.
They've done well enough without him that But I don't know. It's maybe in a big situation wouldn't be the worst idea.
Yeah, I mean, if it's late and there's only one left in the
Yeah.
game, maybe. That was Steve's first super chat, so thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
All right, Stevie boy.
Stevie.
Steve
Rooney.
Yeah, one quick thing to add here from the injury report. Jalen Carter back, full participant. So Jalen, as we said on the earlier show, did not participate in media availability because of the illness, but he's full participant. Devontae Smith continues.
Not a back injury, though.
Yeah.
Correct,
It was
illness.
an illness.
Devontae Smith,
Little diarrhea.
limited with a hamstring injury. Brandon Graham continues to be limited with the elbow, but he will play.
Rohit wants to know details on a PHLY meetup. We have no details. We have no firm plans. But at some point on Saturday, if somebody wants to go ahead and organize this themselves, Zach and I will go somewhere. But we don't really have
Preferably
anything figured out.
Commander's Palace, but
25-cent martinis. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could. I think worst case scenario, everybody could go to Zach's room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
He would love that.
No,
Yeah.
no.
It's like the Michael Scott party in the office.
I have a date Saturday night with an Advil PM. I'm gonna knock that thing out, but I'm yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna
Living
be
large.
the best night of that Advil PM's life.
That's
Advil PM's going to leave a man.
that's
We
sleep.
lost Julia.
That sleep number better
done.
have. That sleep number better have an
Rest
8 or
in
a 9.
peace, Julia.
Better have an 8 or a 9 in front of it on Saturday.
She died doing what she loved.
Laughing at Bo's jokes.
thinking about
Laughing at Bo's
Zach
jokes.
and
yes.
Advil PM.
Yes.
So what room number are you going to be in
What room?
for the meetup?
And the hotel, yeah.
I actually don't know. I'm not even in that. I got to change hotels. So yeah, I don't even know. I'll give you my room number at my current hotel because I'll be out of that. But
Okay, go ahead.
actually, it's not nice to whoever's taking over. So I was wondering what the squatter rules are for that. Like,
Because it's not going to be fun to move rooms.
No, and these are nice rooms.
Yeah,
They are
Yeah.
nice rooms, yeah.
And the location is great, but it's like it's great for a free day Saturday, whereas the place where we're moving is
Sure.
better for the
Game
where we've
day.
been. No, for
Radio
where we've
Row.
been for Radio
Oh,
Row,
the opposite.
where we haven't been. So it's like we're actually going the opposite direction. But you know what? I'm just
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
more than happy, thrilled, excited. I mean, ecstatic, excited for the weekend.
All right. Let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. And on the other side, we're going to hear from Nick Wright, college compatriot of Zach Berman, and lover of the Eagles. Time to talk about our friends at Ace Hardware Home Services. That is who I'm talking about. Yes, it is. Ace Hardware Home Services. I have told this story. Had an issue with the water heater a couple weeks ago. Place I called Ace Hardware Home Services. They show up the same day, fix the problem. Wonderful experience all around. Nice person. good price.
Did you not
What's
drain
better than
it?
that?
Was this on you?
No, it was like
You
are
still have
supposed
to
to
do
drain
that?
them.
Really?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't they
like
figure
I'm
that
not
out?
on top of that,
I mean-
but that was not the issue this time.
Okay.
But yes,
Okay.
it is not a thing that I am on top of. And maybe I'll get Ace Hardware Home Services to just come once a year to
Yeah.
maintain that bad boy so I don't have to worry about it. Because what do they bring at Ace Hardware Home Services? They bring experience. Local plumbers and techs who handle everything from repairs and seasonal maintenance to installations and upgrades. They bring understanding. They listen to your goals, and the job isn't completed until you're satisfied. And they bring helpful to your home, so you can spend more of your time on the projects that really matter. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at www.acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project.
And let me tell you about our friends over at Bet365. You can find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. There's over 90 million users worldwide, and that many people just cannot be wrong. They stream over 780,000 events every year, and they have the best early payout offers across sports. And you should take advantage of code PHLY365 when you sign up. And right now I was just going through all their big game props. They have an entire Swiftie special page with a lot of Travis Kelce props, getaway cars, tons of Super Bowl props and specials going on. It is the place. And make sure you're keeping your eyes peeled for our custom PHLY odds boost going up this weekend. And they have the best early payout offers in sports, whether it's NFL, college football, NBA, NHL, or Major League Baseball. You can take advantage of it. Win or lose right now. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Win or lose. Sign up, use that code PHLY365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. I'm holding on to an Eagles plus 1,400 ticket. If they win on Sunday, that would be very, very nice. So whatever the moment, find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, time to send it to an interview from earlier today. Zach, give us a little bit of your memories of working with Nick Wright in Syracuse.
So Nick Wright was the most eccentric personality I could imagine back then. He was like, he was so colorful. Like he was, you wish you could write a story about him. Actually, Andy McCullough is at The Athletic. They actually did write a story about him. Nick, I first met Nick actually outside of the radio station. He was in my freshman.
In your hotel room.
No, he was in Political Science 121. That was the course. He was a sophomore. I was a freshman.
Your memory is incredible.
And he did not show up to class except for he came to, there was like 2 lectures and then there was a small group run by the TA. And he came to that and he was like brilliant. He was debating the TA. He was brilliant, and I remember that. And then I started working at the radio station, and it's just what you see now on TV. Is that often wrong, but never in doubt. No, I'm kind of joking with the often wrong, but so like confident and had such fascinating delivery. And I used to listen to his shows, and I used to study his shows. I called into one of his shows one time because he had like an argument. I remember one time he said Kevin Love isn't going to be an NBA player, like where he's going to be the biggest bust. And I like called in with like historical data of Kevin Love's rebounding numbers and how that. And he was. And then I started doing shows with him, and I mean you're an incredible host. He was a much different type of host, but he was just an awesome host to work with because he could fill a clock, right? And
Very talented.
Yeah, and then I'll say this too: as a radio boss, I would do tapes I would do like post game shows of Phillies games during the summer, and I would send it to him, and he would send me. I showed Bo like 600-word emails breaking down every part of it. You have to work on your teases here. Your delivery's not good there. What's with this phrasing? Like it was so nice. And then I'll give 2 other quick, like real quick anecdotes. I had a meeting with him one time, and I thought we were going to have a meeting like in the office. And so I get there early and I'm waiting for him, and he comes and he pulls me up, or he pulls up to the office, to the radio
So
office.
he picked you up?
No, he's like come in my car, and basically he was just running these errands, and and doing this meeting as he was running errands, like place to place to
Efficient.
place. And then there was one time when I was covering a Patriots. This was as a professional. I was at the Star Ledger. I was covering a Patriots-Jets playoff game. It was the one where Bart Scott did the Sal Palantonio. Can't wait. Yeah. And I had to drive to Pittsburgh the next morning to because I had to spend the week leading up to the AFC Championship game. And I call up Nick Wright, probably 1 a.m. Eastern time. I'm driving back to Hoboken, because I had seen someone from Kansas City in the press box I wanted to tell him about. And we proceeded to talk for 4.5 hours on the car ride home, like every topic under the sun.
4.5 hours?
4.5 hours on the phone.
I don't know if I've talked to my wife for 4.5 hours.
It was like I pulled in
Wow.
to the parking spot, it was
That's a
street
great
parking
story.
in Hoboken. And it was like he was doing a radio show. Like, every topic under the sun he could talk about, he had an opinion on. He's always been good to me, and so I'll warn you, the video, he was great. I know the height differential makes it weird optics. There's a lot of YouTube comments. I get it. I know I'm short. I'll get ahead of that right now. But
Get over it. Who cares?
But
Not you, them.
The commenters,
I
yeah,
know,
it's
but
like every comment in there.
Enough.
But yeah, it was great seeing Nick today.
All right, let's hear that now, and then we've got more on the other side. We have old friends here, Nick Wright and Zach Berman, and on our way over here, Nick, you were kind enough to wait for us. Zach is combing through his email, and what do you have, Zach?
I found. You'll hold it. Okay. I found notes from my tape review back in 2006. Bo couldn't believe these were it was probably an 800-word email you did. I did a random July Phillies baseball game, and you did the whole review for me. Tell me what I needed to improve and everything.
Well, so Zach, I've known Zach for 20 years now. It's unbelievable. And there's at Syracuse doing radio, so obviously a ton of people come through, and Zach was one of 3 guys that I knew definitively, if he wanted to, would make his living in sports media. The other 2, I was 3 for 3 on my picks. It was him, Andrew Filipponi, who now does afternoons in Pittsburgh and is like Mr. Pittsburgh, and Danny Parkins, who now hosts mornings on FS1, but did afternoons in Chicago forever, and Zach, who right after college I think was writing for the New York Times and then the Washington Post, and then and everything, and has I followed Zach, and I haven't talked a ton, but I followed every step of his career. It's unbelievable.
I am
That sounds like that's on you, Zach.
What?
Eagles
No.
fans know. Well, no. Nick changed his number back in 2020.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. That's a bad job on me. That is true.
But
Yeah.
but I'm like Nick's biggest defender in Philly. I got to say that, and we'll get
That's
to
a
that in
tough
second.
job to have,
We'll get
bro.
to that in a second.
Yeah.
But the Nick's Wright story I always tell is my first time doing a post-game show. It was with Nick. I was the co-host. Nick was the host, and I'm nervous out of my mind. Okay, and Nick is like literally the best talk radio host you can imagine. And I have hours of preparation for the show. I've been to practice. I'm doing all this, and I get there, and Nick's like, "Don't worry, it's Syracuse-Colgate game." And Nick starts the show with a 4-minute monologue about something that happened with Eric Diefendorf the night before that I was not familiar with. And I'm like, oh my God, I have no idea what to say.
So funny.
No idea what to say. He was the best then, he's the best now.
Well, that's very nice. And despite all that, Philly hates me.
Yes.
But such is life. Listen, I understand Philadelphia Eagles fans and Niners fans and Bills fans' angst, because they all feel like if not for this one team, we might be the team going for a dynasty. The Niners feel like they'd have a couple Super Bowls. The Eagles, here in 72 hours, are going to have 0 and are going to feel like they should have a couple. And the Bills feel like they should have 4. It's not fair, but it just is what it is. And there's nothing wrong with second place. There's 32 teams. 30 of them would love to be able to play in this game. And this is the other thing I'll say to all the Eagles. Listen, it's a great roster. And I was way wrong on Saquon. He's having maybe the best season of any running back ever, all of it. All of these guys forever, for the rest of their lives, whether they're big-time players, role players, whatever, are going to be immortalized as being part of the films that are made about the three-peat. They're going to be on the field. You're going to see them. You're going to be like, oh, man, there's Jalen Carter. Like, that maybe propelled him to a new level. Like, that's special. That's something. Like, Byron Russell gets remembered. Like, it's something.
Here's my framing. Maybe the only way to take down the best team in modern history, the dynasty, is with a team from a bygone era. A team that is built from 1980s,
Before
1970s.
the forward pass?
Basically. And maybe that's the only way to take them down.
Yeah. No, listen, you guys can win. I'm not like...
It's all weighted coin flips.
You guys can win. I think it is going to be very, very hard to beat this team because I think that it's a combination of the healthiest they've ever been, playing the best they've played at any point in the year. And I'm a little concerned on Philly's behalf, how healthy are Jurgens and Dickerson? I know they're both full at practice or whatever, but that is like dealing with Chris Jones all game is a problem. But Mike Caliendo dealing with Jalen Carter or what's the other D-tackle? Milton Williams. Dealing with him could be a problem too. Should be a great game. The issue for Philly is no one can blow the Chiefs out. It's impossible. And if it's a close game, you feel like, well, the Chiefs are going to win. So it's just like they're just a hard team to beat. And listen, Philly has the pieces to do it if the quarterback plays great. And I know that sounds facile or whatever, but no one has gone for 90 yards against the Chiefs in the playoffs from running back since Spagnuolo's been there. That's 6 years. Even if Saquon breaks that, I don't think he's going to have 160. And so can Jalen do what he did in the last Super Bowl? He hasn't done it in a single game since then. If he can, you guys can win. I don't think he can, and I don't think you'll win. But
Zach, you get to be the Saquon guy because you've been the Saquon guy from the beginning. You tell me if you think he can do it.
Well, no one's been able to stop Saquon all year, right? And so I saw what James Cook did against Kansas City. I think that's where the vulnerability is in that Chiefs defense. The Eagles' offensive line has been the best offensive line all year. Saquon, if he played Week 17, would have broken the record. Week 18 would have broken the record. Now, I'm not convinced that the Eagles are going to run the ball as much as they have all year. I think Jalen's going to try to be unleashed a little bit more. But, yeah, Saquon, no one's been able to stop Saquon.
So, it's totally correct. Listen, what's he, 130 yards per game now for almost 20 games, 19 games. It's remarkable. The James Cook thing the difference I would say is I felt like the Chiefs went into that game saying,
let him.
If James Cook beats us, Cook beats us. We're not going to let Josh Allen beat us. I think it's going to be the opposite in this game. I think you're going to get a lot of one-on-ones with AJ and Devontae. And listen, it's the second best pair of receivers, maybe the best. I think second best pair of receivers in the league. The sneaky most important player on your offense, obviously Saquon's most important, but that's why I said sneaky, is Goddard. The one spot the Chiefs have stunk at all year is covering tight ends. So can he have a big game? And it's like 4 plays. Can Jalen make 4 high-leverage plays? And what makes you guys so annoying is 3rd and 6, you might run the damn ball. You know what I mean? And that's such a hard thing to deal with is teams that unless it's 3rd and more than 7, you can't sell out for the pass, because you guys will run and be.
They like to run the ball on 3rd and 10.
Right. Yeah. Well, sure. And they're also not necessarily even trying to get a first. They're just trying to get within 2 yards so they can run their stupid rugby play. So yeah, no, you guys are a lot to deal with. The better the coach is, the more time to prepare, the better. The inverse of that's true as well. The more of a doofus the coach is, the more time, the worse. So I might have liked the Eagles in this spot if they could have played it with 1 game to prepare. But with 2 weeks, Andy Reid there, Sirianni somewhere else, I don't know.
All right, Nick.
Wait, real quick on Sirianni. If we're doing a post-game show back in college, and I tell you, there's a coach who in 4 years has made 2 Super Bowls, 4 double-digit win seasons, 4 playoff appearances, 3 double-digit win seasons, the winningest coach among the highest winning percentage among active coaches. What would you say about those numbers?
I know it sounds amazing. I can't figure it out because I just know in my bones the guy's a doofus. But you're right. Listen, wins and losses are a coaching stat. His resume is really unimpeachable, and yet
he was almost impeached by the team.
Correct. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
and yet it felt like he was a week 5 loss away from being fired. It felt like whatever game it was when he screamed
Week
at his
6,
own fans
yeah.
against was that Cleveland?
Browns,
Yeah. Felt like, man, if they lost that game, were they going to fire this guy? Like, maybe, and now it's like, flip side is he's 1 win away from, wait, is this guy going to be a Hall of Fame coach? I don't understand it, but it just keeps happening.
All right, Nick Wright, thank you so much. If the Eagles win this game, maybe we'll have you on to talk tennis another time.
Listen, I would love to. Zach, I should tell you this. I come to Philly all the time because it's the closest poker rooms to New York. So maybe, yes. So maybe sometime I'll come see you guys. Either way, great to see you, brother.
Great to
love
see you,
it.
Nick. You too,
all right,
man.
see you guys. Thank you.
Great, awesome, thank you so
Yes.
much. All right, let's move on. How's everybody doing? What do you want to talk about?
There's a lot I want to talk about, but this is Les's final time on the show.
Yeah.
So, how about this? Do you have,
Not ever, we hope, but
No.
Super Bowl week.
Until we get home.
Yeah.
what's your big sentiment about this game?
I wish I had a better handle on this. I'm struck by 2 really contradictory things. I hear a lot of national talking heads say some version of, well, the Chiefs have the better quarterback and the better coach.
Yeah,
S-
I would
But
agree
these
with that.
same people who are using this as a thesis for why they think the Chiefs will win will, in the blink of an eye, tell you that games are won up front. Now, do you see the contradiction I'm pointing
Sure.
out here?
Eagles are better up front. Both
Yeah.
sides. Yeah.
If that's where games are won, I don't know. I'm going to pick the Eagles to win just because it's no fun picking the Eagles to lose. I was a Philadelphian during the long stretch from 1983 to 2008, even though I'm not from Philadelphia. And in my secret heart of hearts, I'm always amazed when a Philadelphia team wins a championship.
Sure.
I was sitting there trying to write my story in 2018. I was writing about Doug Peterson, and I was like, focus. After Brandon Graham swatted that ball, it occurred to me that in all likelihood, the Eagles were going to win the Super Bowl, and it kind of paralyzed me a little bit, and I'm a professional here. I need to, I have a job to do. I want to do a good job because this is going to be a story that people will read, and I'm like, oh my God, So anyway, I like the Eagles. I honestly have no idea. I don't think you win games with magic, with the fact that you've won them before. I think that there's a little bit of that with the Chiefs. People are, they've won 3. And, I saw I covered a lot of Super Bowls for the Daily News back when the Eagles weren't involved. I saw David Tyree. Did anybody think the undefeated Patriots were going to lose the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as, you don't, because you've won a championship or 2 or 3, you don't just go out there and win the Super Bowl. If they don't have the goods Sunday, if Kansas City can't stop Saquon Barkley, they're going to lose.
I'll say the same logic that the same logic you're saying here is exactly what was said in 2018.
Yeah.
2017 season. In February 2018 was like, well, it's Brady and Belichick, right?
Right.
But then
Yes.
the Eagles were better
Yes.
on both lines of scrimmage, and the Eagles
Yes.
are better on both lines of scrimmage here. So I'm fascinated to see this. I know this is going to go. The thing that's going to go viral is all those ESPN people picking the Chiefs.
Yeah, Marcus Spears was the only one to pick the Eagles on the
Okay.
whole set today. I
Yeah.
think 6 picks and only 1 Eagles.
And what do you make of that, Jamie?
I love that. I think there's something to feeling disrespected. I don't think it's something you can necessarily quantify or apply, but I love that the Eagles, are kind of getting counted out just because Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are on the other side. I think they're better in the lines. They have the number 1 defense in the league. They have perhaps the greatest running back season I've ever seen in my life. And Jalen Hurts has done a tremendous job. This game to me is just going to come down to turnovers.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts has done a really, really nice job of protecting the football. You can't give Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs any extra opportunities. And I think as long as they play a clean game, as cliche as it sounds, I love the Eagles' chances in this game. I am wildly optimistic about the outcome on Sunday. And everybody down here, everybody on the national, we talked to Marcus Allen, we talked to some other people. I talked to Kyle Long earlier. Everybody goes, well, the Chiefs, because they don't lose. And I'm like, well,
yeah, they do.
Okay, yeah, they're human.
Until they do.
Yeah, until they do. And I think Sunday's the day they're going to lose.
I think it's very possible.
Yeah.
Super chat from Grace, who wants to know if the locker room is indeed watching 60 to 70% of our shows. Zach, have you ever been, has a player ever mentioned something to you?
About the show?
Yes.
Or not about the show. I get more about tweets. Yeah, players will bring up tweets.
Such as?
Good thing they don't see mine.
I don't consider that on the record. So, but if you put something out that, maybe it's something
somebody thinks is unfair, or
or it actually could be the other way. Like you notice something, and they're like, "Oh, I appreciate you seeing that."
Oh yeah.
Or you put their quote out. Like sometimes I'll put this. Sometimes players are surprised when they're quoted accurately. Right?
Oh yeah.
It's like oh yeah, like thanks for putting that out there, right? And because I do think sometimes when there's quotes just put out by the locker, it's just like a summation of what they say. And,
Sure.
And like I go back and like I'll transcribe everything that's said, and like players will.
Now people were wondering why you don't just rely on AI for quotes, and this is why, because you want to be accurate.
Exactly. Otter, and then there's other services. I use it, but it misses words. It gets the wrong word, and you don't want to misquote somebody. Yeah.
Right.
So
That's
it
exactly
helps you
right.
transcribe quicker, but if I just put in that, the quote wouldn't make sense.
Right.
Les, I'll give you this super chat from LB908, who says, any concern for you about Donald Trump being at this game and his connection to Patrick Mahomes and maybe swaying the refs, since all businesses are kowtowing to the president?
I don't think that'll be a factor in the game. I did see something today on Twitter about Trump had this snippy little thing about Tommy Tuberville. Did you see that?
Yes, he claimed the coach Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he
did not,
invented this conversation with Tommy Tuberville about what kind of quarterback Patrick Mahomes was when Tuberville was coaching him, and blah 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 blah. And of course, it never happened.
Yes.
They did not overlap.
They missed each other by 2 years, I believe.
Yeah. So either the conversation with Tuberville never happened, or Tuberville told a very colorful lie to Donald Trump. Either one could certainly be true.
Let's take a break. On the other side, we're going to talk to Geoff Schwartz about the Eagles' offensive line.
I really enjoy
this bad
his
boy off
Twitter
on Radio
account.
Row.
He's a good follow for football fans. I think he's an informative teacher.
How do you feel about a Geoff, spelling-wise?
It's different.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Mosher.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
It's good to see Moshe this week. Geoff.
Be right back. Talking to you about True Mark Financial Credit Union. If you are a little bit in the red these days and you want a little extra time to pay off that debt, well, True Mark Financial is offering 0 interest on balance transfers for 12 months, so all of your payments can go toward reducing your balance, not just covering interest. Here's the play. Transfer your existing balance from another institution to a True Mark Financial Visa credit card and take advantage of this amazing offer. But hurry, you have to apply by February 28th, 2025. Whether you're interested in earning rewards, cash back, or simply prefer a low rate for everyday purchases, with TrueMark Financial, you can choose the credit card that best fits your financial needs. Visit TrueMark.com/compare for full details and to apply today. TrueMark Financial, federally insured by the NCUA, equal opportunity lender. Terms and conditions apply. All loans subject to approval. 3% balance transfer fee applies. Standard rates apply after the promotional rate.
I'm always fascinated at these Super Bowls, meeting people who come here and they don't have tickets. and they're like, you know what? I'll see if I can get a ticket before the game. Whether it's usually the secondary market nowadays where they do that, and the place to turn is Game Time, because I would feel more comfortable doing that now with Game Time, because Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff, and it shows you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. I'm supposed to pick an upcoming game here. We all know what game I'm picking. That's the Super Bowl, okay? I'm sorry if my voice cracked there. I'm just so excited.
Would you like to know the cheapest ticket right now, Zach?
Let's hear. What is it?
Take a gander. Take a guess.
$3,000.
It's cheaper.
Okay.
$24.80.
$24.80, and you know what?
That gets you in the door.
And you can keep waiting closer to
Kick
game
in the
time.
door, waving the 4-4.
You can keep waiting closer to Game Time on the Game Time app. They have super deals, and it's a great place. There's tiers of deals, amazing, great, and you can use it at there's curated deals that make it easier to find the best price on great seats. The super deal is the best value for the events. There's seat views before you buy, on-time ticket delivery, lowest price guarantee. They have event cancellation protection. I hope we don't have to worry about that for the Super Bowl. But the
super deal right now, lower level, Zach, $34.86.
There you go.
Top 1% value.
And the all-in pricing is the thing I love. You toggle this feature. I've never spent that much money on a ticket, but I've put down like $80 to get into a Sixers game one time. And I used the all-in pricing that allowed me to see the total up front with no surprise fees. The lowest price guarantee. If it's not Game Time, we'll credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
Les, did you see the clip from the McAfee show?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I did. Yes.
You're Phil Jackson.
Apparently, yeah.
I'm
not quite that tall.
Do you remember covering A.Q. Shipley?
Yes, I do.
I mean, he could have done you better than that, I feel like.
Oh, that's who that was.
He's one of the people, yeah. He's the one who knew who you were, yeah.
McAfee was the only guy there that I had any idea who the heck they were. I mean, they didn't know me either, so that's fine. But, yeah. So Shipley was the one who eventually came up with my name.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Les
After
Snead.
Cycling through Les Snead, yeah.
Have you gotten Phil Jackson before?
One time, a picture taken from an odd angle on Facebook, an old friend of mine who lives down in the Washington area now, said, "Hey, you look like Phil Jackson these days." He hadn't seen me in years, and I thought, no, I don't. But I mean, but there it is again.
Yeah.
So maybe I do. Maybe I can hire myself out as a Phil Jackson impersonator or some such.
There you go. All right, let's talk a little offensive line. Fran Duffy talked to Geoff Schwartz about the Eagles' offensive line earlier
good
today.
Jalen Carter and Chris Jones talk.
Love that. Let's check it out. Geoff Schwartz, yeah.
With the G.
Geoff.
Geoff Schwartz.
Geoff.
How long is this clip?
4 hours.
Now, do I have time to?
Joined now by NFL analyst Geoff Schwartz to talk through some of the trench play that we're expected to see here on Sunday. And we'll start Eagles O-line going up against the Chiefs D-line. Obviously, the guy to circle, Chris Jones. As you're watching him this year, we know he's an elite player at the top of the position right now in the league. What stands out most to you when you watch Chris Jones on film?
Well, it's got to be the hands, man. I mean, when he's able to just place those hands right, the double arm underneath. But I'm really curious because, he has spent this postseason actually going good versus good. He has gone against Deion Dawkins a bunch and gone against Tunsil a bunch. He's also not as good on that side as well. But I think what it does is it eats up the left tackle. And everyone wants to say we're going to slide to Chris Jones, so it allows other guys on the other side like Karlaftis and Mekhi inside sometimes a nickel to make plays. I'm really curious what he does this game. He might just say, me and you, Lane, let's go for it. And we'll leave Becton, try to leave him on an island for someone else and put George on the other side. So He gets to pick and choose sometimes where he goes, which is kind of fun to see who he chooses in matchup. I do wonder how much they twist and try to get Becton moving a little bit as well. I mean, that feels like the guy, unless Dickerson's that hurt still and they target him over left guard, it does feel like they're going to go after Becton, and which is, I mean, Becton's played well. It's not like the best option, but Eagles offensive line's really good.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to see it just because, I mean, Chris Jones, the only player in the NFL to have 25 pressures lined up inside the tackle and then over tackle. You mentioned how they've moved him over the offensive tackle spot so often here this postseason. So when you look at it, if you're the rest of the offensive line, you know, all right, if he's going to be left one-on-one with Lane or if we're going to be sliding that way, who are the guys that you're looking at and saying, okay, I feel like I need to make sure we get this guy blocked along that KC front? Is it Karlaftis with what he's done down the stretch? Who is the other guy up front that you're most worried about?
Menahue's had his good rushes, like spot rushes.
Yeah.
Karlaftis, a lot of production has been against tight ends, which the Eagles don't really do. They're not going to leave a tight end in like that. So I would say if Menahue's able to just like pick and choose where he lines up, I think he's more of a problem than maybe Karlaftis. Because Karlaftis is probably better throughout a game, if that makes sense. Yep. But Menahue has those bursts sometimes that really make him productive.
All right, let's go to the other side. You and I have caught offline here on the floor at Radio Row talking about Jalen Carter and what the plan could be there. Let's rehash that conversation now that we've got a camera here. What are your thoughts on Jalen Carter going to this game?
Right, so Jalen Carter primarily is over the right guard, right? The defense is left, and he will sometimes move over the center post-snap. And he has the moves he likes. He's a club move. He will sort of have an outside double arm swipe, and then he will sort of have the bull to the swim or rip underneath. Yeah. But that's mostly over the right guard, right? Against the center, he's going to go inside and club for the most part. And the question is, the Chiefs' left guard is the weakness for the Chiefs, with Joe Thuney out left tackle. Do you move Carter over there where he's not done a lot? And he did a little bit last week. And I would say no, and I'll tell you why. I know people say, well, target the weak guy. But what happens is when you move Carter over there, he's probably not as good, right?
He has been doing it.
Correct. And then you put someone else over the right guard. Now Trey has a better matchup, and Carter's worse over the. Like now you've made two matchups better for the Chiefs, essentially, right?
Yep.
Where just say you put Carter right, and you say, look, you're getting a lot of one-on-ones most likely because we're going to slide the center to help the left guard.
Yeah.
And good versus good, like. Guys, it's a Super Bowl. It's good versus good. Like that's what you get in the Super Bowl. So I think Carter will stay where he is. The advantage that the Eagles have in this game is the Chiefs cannot run the football right now. And with Thuney outside, you're not going to do it. So you're going to be probably more pass rush situations. I do wonder, and the Chiefs have not done this postseason and not option of theirs. Washington didn't do it that much, is tempoing. Using tempo, get those big guys moving a little bit. But then you move too much. I don't think you're going to do it, but it's a thought I've had.
One question, last one I got for you, is going to be Juwan Taylor at right tackle. Yeah. So much talk about Joe Thuney. Nolan Smith has been hot for this Eagles pass rush down the stretch. What's the weak point for Juwan Taylor in your mind? What's an area that he can attack?
Tell you what, he's been great this postseason. He's so, like the Chiefs, he just sort of turns it on. Yeah. He gets off that ball so quickly. It's so funny.
For a big guy.
It's so funny that he gets the blame for that when it's Lane who basically started doing it, and like Juwan Taylor gets all the blame. And I love Lane, of course. I think for him, you just have to try to get him going up the field too much and get back inside. You're not going to beat him up. He gets off the ball so fast, you're not going to beat him up the field very often. It's a matter of, I think, just sort of getting him to go up the field and coming back inside. But then, of course, if you do that, Mahomes sees it, he sneaks out. And the Eagles don't spy, I don't think, right? No. So then when he sneaks out, then you're broke-contained. And with the zone, you worry about Kelsey finding areas in the zone to make plays. So I love these matchups in these games because it's such a micro level. It's like, what happens here, what happens there, what happens there. So, because the teams are really good. Yep. They're a really good football team, so it'll be a lot of fun.
72 hours out, prediction?
I said Chiefs 34-31. It's a lot of points. Yep. People are trying to convince me that it's going to be a lower scoring game, which is certainly possible because if you think that just Eagles run the ball, chew the clock up. Yep. Eagles will let the Chiefs get 7 yards to the red zone. And there's a lot of ways where I just think the teams move the football. The question becomes obviously fourth down. Yeah. And then do you turn red zone possession into touchdowns?
No question.
And so those can be reasons why it goes under and over. Right. So I'm really curious to see. But look, I've said this for a while. I've said it all week. I'll continue to say it. Until the Chiefs lose in the postseason, I'm not betting against them. Right? And that's what I'm going to go with. Eagles can absolutely win this game. It's not like an anti-Eagles take. The Eagles are really good. Yep. Absolutely win the game. But until the Chiefs are dead, I'll bet on the Chiefs.
Geoff Schwartz. You can make sure you follow him on Twitter, check out his podcast, everything that he's doing. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk soon.
Take care. Thank you, buddy.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. Mr. Duffy. Time to run through some Super Chats. Grace, yes, we do watch the game from the press box.
How do you enjoy it up there? Because I've done my fair share of press box viewing. Do you guys like it?
I do like the press box.
I do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good view. Now,
This particular
the Superdome
press
one,
box?
freezing cold is the Superdome press box because you're at the very top of the dome,
Yeah.
and the AC for the entire building comes
Right.
blaring right into you.
It also is it still open like it used
It
to be?
is.
Yes.
Yeah, I had an issue with that because I felt they were piping noise into the press box through the speakers.
Yeah.
And the job is, you're trying to concentrate here, and it's
I like it because you feel a part of the game. You feel a part of the atmosphere. Now,
Do you miss stuff on TV though? Like, do you
So-
feel like that takes away from
so
your?
this is the great thing. These days, I don't need to say what system I use to watch TV because they can advertise. I would love that, but
Yeah.
I pull it up online.
okay.
So and I keep one AirPod in. Usually the side that Bo's not sitting there because I want to talk to Bo.
But
so
you
the
don't have a
opposite ear-
delay. You're watching.
No, I have a delay.
Oh,
I have a delay,
But
but
just so
actually the
you're
delay's
catching
better.
up.
that would
on
drive me nuts.
The delay's
I-
better, I think. Yeah,
Really?
because
Yeah,
then
you want a delay.
yeah, because you can
You
go back
see
and
it
see
live,
You
and
see
then
it
you get
live
to
and
see
you
it,
look.
yeah.
Exactly.
I guess. Okay.
So I put one AirPod in, which is if Bo's sitting on my right, then I'll put the AirPod in my left because I love watching a game next to Bo. I mean this. Bo is so perceptive during the game.
Yeah, I get to watch a lot of games. with
Yeah,
him.
awesome guy to watch football with.
It'd be really cute if you guys shared wired headphones and each did one ear.
That'd be fun.
That would be nice.
Zach Bryant wants to know, do you know a Biggie line?
I don't know if this is Biggie. It might be about Biggie, but there's the
I
thing.
love where this is going.
Biggie,
Could go
Biggie,
anywhere.
Biggie, can't you see? Don't you know your words just hypnotize me? Is that
That
Biggie?
is
Close en-
Biggie.
it's close
it's,
enough.
It's Puffy singing it in a Biggie song.
Okay, so
Or is that a female singing that part? It's a female, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's it's hypnotized, yeah. I
And
thought
it's
you were
not-
going to go.
It's not quite exactly correct, but
Okay.
that's okay.
I
Because
expected
that-
you
for
to go
you,
10 crack commandments, but you
what's a lyric from that?
don't get high on your own supply, Zach.
I've heard that expression. I've never heard it
Yeah.
in a song.
Yeah.
What's relevant about I know I sound ignorant here. What's
I think
what's
you-
I
relevant?
said one before.
He dropped a line earlier.
Ah, okay.
Chat was responding to that.
Gotcha.
Super
No,
Nintendo,
I did see.
Sega Genesis.
I did see that.
For the record, number one, without a doubt. Somebody asked about it. One more chance. I mean, as good as it gets.
As good as it gets.
Jack Nicholson movie.
One
Yeah.
more chance. This song. That is my favorite.
Oh,
Biggie
okay.
song.
Yeah. I did see that movie.
The rest can always move around, but one more chance will always be number one.
I want
you
to
go.
make sure I'm bringing.
Les, how about you?
Which?
Favorite Biggie song?
Yeah, I do not have one. I'm sorry.
What's your favorite Dead song?
That's a very good question.
It's a tough
Althea.
question.
Althea might
That's a
be
great
my
one.
favorite.
Yeah, that's in my top 5, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I was saying I want to bring adequate juice to the table here.
You could be
Juicy.
juicy like Biggie.
Well, our partners over at DNVR, they got complimented by our friends over at Pat McAfee for the juice that they brought to the show, right there for their intro. So, you have to be authentic to yourself, but I want to bring the appropriate amount of juice here.
That's good.
How many concerts have you been to, Zach?
Concerts?
Yeah. In life.
Malcolm Gladwell doesn't count.
Well, so not including school concerts, right?
Yeah, those don't count. Professionals.
3.
Okay.
2 or 3.
All right, let
I
me
went-
see.
Most recent?
Wait, one I covered though.
Well, that doesn't count.
Okay,
That's unbelievable.
one I covered.
Which one was that?
That was.
Thanks for watching on Fast, by the
yeah.
way. Go to allphly.com to find out what concert Zach has been to.
So
Great tease.
when I was in college, I wanted to write for every section of the paper because I thought it was important, to be versatile. It was just some idea that I had. So I went to the arts section and I said, "Can I do a concert, a story on a concert?" And they said, "Sure." It was Bob Dylan. I'm sorry, I wish Bob Dylan. Billy Joel was coming to Philadelphia or to Syracuse, and so
It's a great one.
I went to a Billy Joel concert at Syracuse, and
Isn't it Joel Billy?
no, it's Billy Joel. And then interestingly, years later, when I started dating my now wife Emily, her parents got tickets to a Billy Joel concert at.
So you've seen Billy Joel twice.
Yes, and the only song.
So
I could tell-
67% of your concerts in your life
And the other
have
one,
been Billy Joel.
and the other one was my at 9th grade year. A friend of mine invited me to see.
Ooh, let me guess.
What?
Dave Matthews.
No.
Ah.
No. I couldn't. Look, Joey
I
was
thought I
at
saw
the-
you doing beer bombs
Yeah,
in
Joey was
Camden
at the
with me.
Dave Matthews concerts. I couldn't hang at the Dave Matthews concert.
Oh, those were
Joey.
a party, man.
I was at it was a U2 concert. It was at the Wells Fargo Center. It was then the First Union or Core States, whatever it was.
Wachovia, whatever.
And I had never been to a concert before, and I sat. It was the top row of the second level of the top section, and I was like mystified by. I was like, "What do you do here? Like, do I sit down? Do I?" I didn't know what to do there.
Like,
Smoke a
with my hands,
doobie.
Yeah.
like-
And then I remember the line
What
for the
did you end up
bathroom was
doing?
so long. You see, back then you didn't have phones. I didn't have a phone, so it's not like I could look at sports scores.
But did you sit up or stand down?
What's that?
Did you sit or stand?
Well, the person in front of me stood, but I was watching the screen because they were so far down there.
Sometimes one does that. Yes.
Yeah, I was watching the screen, and it was fine. But I always use this line. Joey's probably heard me say this in high school. To me, I could have sat in my car and put the music on really loud, and I would have had the same experience for a lot less money than I did at the concert.
Jamie's shaking his head.
Yeah, no.
Chris Stapleton is here tonight in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
MJ Lenderman was playing a show. the
Yeah,
other night.
yeah.
wanted to
I
see
thought
that.
about that, yes.
How many shows do you think you've been to, Les?
Oh.
You're a music head.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because my wife and I are trying to compile a list of every show we've seen.
Oh, God, I could never do that.
And this has been an ongoing thing
Yeah.
for a couple months now, and we're over 150.
Combined?
Yeah. Some of that's just her. Mine's probably a little longer.
I just thought
Oh,
of
so you're
something
over
relevant
300
I can
together.
contribute to
Yeah.
this conversation.
Okay.
So, in the old days of the Super Bowl, they would have a press conference with the musical performer.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
they had that today.
one year in Miami, it was Prince.
Yeah, in the rain.
Well, but not the press conference wasn't in
Oh,
there.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
inside the convention center. Prince didn't want to do a press conference, so he walks out there, says that, curtains part, all of his backup singers and his bands is there, and he gives this like a 45-minute set.
Really?
Purple Rain,
That's
Little Red
awesome.
Corvette, the whole bit. Raspberry Beret, the whole. The singers are dancing and. Not at all what I expected when
So
I
I
went
got
to the concert.
I got to
the,
sit in on
press conference.
3 Super Bowl sound checks of the performers. It was Bruce Springsteen in Tampa. It was Katy Perry in Arizona.
Oh, so then I did go to a concert then because I was at those games.
I don't know if those count.
Okay, all right, keep going.
And the third one was Madonna.
Okay.
Okay.
So I got to see those sound checks. That was kind of cool. But those didn't count towards our
Yeah.
list.
So if you include this, Justin Timberlake was the halftime act for the Eagles
Nipplegate.
Patriots game.
No,
No, Eagles
not
Patriots.
Eagles
Oh, that
game.
was Janet
Um,
Jackson. Yeah.
Rihanna, Rihanna.
Rihanna.
No, Rihanna. I'm sorry, Rihanna was the halftime show for the game 2 years ago.
Rihanna's hips do lie, by the way.
That's
I remember.
Shakira.
Oh, that's Shakira. I'm sorry. Oh, well.
I did. I remember vividly.
Under my umbrella.
I remember the lead to my story.
I love Rihanna.
The lead to my story
Hella.
was about how the Eagles lost the second half. Lost the halftime lead, and so it was as Rihanna was playing. But I remember Rihanna as Rihanna was playing. Kaiser White and T.J. Edwards or whoever it was were saying the game 0-0, something like that. But I used Rihanna in that. Bruno Mars. I was in an elevator with Bruno Mars before the Super Bowl in 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been to a few of these.
He's
Those don't
a
count as concerts?
What?
You have to go to Union Transfer one night. It's right
Yeah.
across from the office.
I would go for Kelsey's show. That would be. But Honestly, it's like
Chris Stapleton, I would
All
love
right.
to go see tonight.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
saw
would
him
be
once in
great.
Camden.
Look,
He's fantastic.
I have nothing against concerts. Great, okay, but
I mean, you clearly do.
no, what I'm saying. Like,
3 is like hard to do.
I'm not saying you guys need to go to the Philadelphia Speaker Series with me, right? Like everyone has different interests.
Oh, I would go to that.
Okay, I'm a season ticket holder. So
Wait,
everyone
you gonna have season tickets to that?
to the Philadelphia Speaker Series.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Really?
Oh, yeah. There's a waiting list.
Who's up next?
Who is up next? It is the one in March. I can pull it up for you.
That's
I
okay.
forget.
Do
Yeah.
you go to every one?
I try to. Yeah.
Wow.
During the season, it's a little hard, but
Yeah.
I try to. In any event, I don't have a passion for music as much as other people do. But I don't judge anyone for going.
I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
You just fascinate me at all times. You have a beautiful brain, Zach.
Thank you.
Concert venue-wise, someone mentioned Union Transfer, which is a great place.
Man, Chris over
But
here.
as an old person,
The Met.
the Met,
Yeah,
and
baby.
you know why?
You get to sit.
I can sit down.
Yeah.
Yes, I do
Zach
not
would
need
never
to
sit.
stand
It's
for
unmanly
2
to
hours.
sit.
Come on, man. If it's like a real energetic thing, sure. But if you're standing there,
I agree with you.
I saw Iron and Wine at Union Transfer.
Nice.
You know, I
Sometimes
was
you need a
like,
break.
da, da, da. You know, I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
You sit there and watch Iron and Wine. You don't have to. You don't dance to Iron and Wine.
I saw
or-
Sturgill at the Met, Sturgill
Yeah.
Simpson, about 2 months ago, and we actually got to sit because it was on the side.
Yes.
And it was a school night, tired parents. It was just nice to sit down.
Yes.
How many concerts have you been to, Bo? If you had to, throw a dart and guess.
Not that many. I would say something like 35.
Okay.
That's a good
Something
number.
like that.
And most recently,
Yeah, what's
Mount
the most
Joy.
Mount Joy.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's a good one. Yes.
Yeah. Shout out
yes.
to Matt.
Yeah, Matt Quinn. Mount
Amen.
Joy's awesome.
Yeah, I think I saw them with Kurt Vile one time.
Well,
Yeah.
nice.
There you go.
Matt's our tight end expert.
EJ Jenkins.
Super chat. ZB, would you have gone to a festival?
Me and Julia went to a 3-day festival right before we launched.
Would I
Up in Woodstock.
would I
Really?
go to a
Yeah.
festival?
We had a camper, Zach, so you had a bed.
Okay.
No number 2s on the camper though. So you had to do that elsewhere. And
Where?
Porta potties are in the facility.
All right, I'm a no right there. Yeah. I'm a definite no.
You know, in 2017, when the Eagles played the Rams and they were redoing L.A. Coliseum,
Yes.
Jeffrey Lurie came out of a porta potty, and I thought, this might be the first time in Jeffrey Lurie's life
Yeah,
that he has used a porta potty.
could be.
He did not look impressed.
Now, if you told Zach that Jeffrey Lurie had been in the porta potty, he all of a sudden
Yeah.
he may reverse course.
I will wear
Never
that
know
one.
what you could learn.
We're not that close, bro.
All right.
Real quick,
What
before
else?
we get out of here, there's a question, I guess, towards you guys have been around the team more than I have this week.
Yeah.
Any concern about the sicknesses that is apparently traveling through the team?
You know what? 2017, there was a bad illness going around. They were staying in the Mall of America. Everyone was sick. Actually, a few people, Deuce Staley included, missed the parade that following Thursday because of the back end of the illness. A few reporters were sick that week
Damo
as
was
well.
dreadfully ill
Yes.
during Paul
During-
Domowitch during the game.
Yeah. I mean, that was – you didn't go outside during that Super Bowl. Everyone was
Yeah.
and so everyone was getting sick. So, look, the fact that it's earlier in the week, or I guess relatively earlier in the week.
Yeah, we have several days here.
Yeah. Now, if it's one of these things that it spreads from Jalen Carter, but
Right.
I said the other day, Nolan Smith was in the locker room the other day wearing a mask, and he
Yeah, I got to
over-
think the medical staff is going to
Yeah.
kind of be on this. They're not going to just let events take their course, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, we have one other super chat from Steve, who says, better 2024 offseason acquisitions, Saquon Barkley and Zach Bond, or Les Bowen and Fran Duffy? I'd say it's a tie.
Yeah. I mean,
Can I reserve judgment until Sunday night?
Well, Fran's got to be carrying the load there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Fran's doing an awesome job with his draft guide. I hope everyone.
And the Die Hard sale ends this evening, I believe.
Yes.
Get it in.
Get in there, and let's get some thumbs ups in the chat.
Yeah, let me
here.
tell you this.
Mr.
Here.
Berman's been to 3 concerts. That deserves some thumbs up.
Here. Let me just say this, okay? You're going to get the draft guide eventually, right? Now, so like.
Yeah,
So
you're
like,
right.
Why not get it tonight when you get the best deal of the year?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like look.
Hey, moron.
I'm not telling anyone how to spend their money. Like, look, you might want to, you might have more money coming in a month from now, and you'd rather buy it then. But you're gonna get this. This draft guide is outstanding. Trust me, it is outstanding.
I'm sure.
It's a living document. You're gonna get it. So why not take advantage of the deal right now?
Listen to the man.
And I don't know if you can hear it on the stream, but there's like a marching band practicing. I don't know if that's practice or it's for the Super Bowl experience, but you hear those big old drums. So Zach has now been to his 4th concert.
I'll tell you what. I feel like I've been to a concert every night this week because Bo and Julia, what is going on outside our hotel?
Oh,
every
the
night?
train.
Yeah, Bo. Is that what it is?
You don't hear it?
No.
Every night.
Oh my! It is outrageous.
City noise is nothing to me.
I have tried. I mean, this isn't
That's
city
like-
noise.
This is not city
is not-
noise.
this
This
is
is
not-
like
Through
a
it's
freight
great.
train.
No.
There's
I've
some-
heard the trains. Yeah.
No, it's like a beeping sound. It's brutal.
That's a nice sound to me. That's a sleeping sound. Is the sound of the city going.
So then what I do is on our TVs, they're smart TVs, and I put on YouTube and I put on our shows, and I try falling asleep listening to the shows, and then I end up just
that is demented.
like studying our shows.
I thought you were gonna say I put on white noise or something.
No. I put on our shows, and
I agree. That is kind of demented. Yeah.
why? But there's so many things I want to do better from these shows. So, like this show tonight, I'll have some opinions on. But the good thing is we'll be back tomorrow.
Put
at
on a
2
Billy
p.m.
Joel concert.
Yeah, he's still rock and roll to me, right? Right?
Yeah, that's something.
I could do, the Piano Man. Sing me a song, you're the Piano Man. Let me see. Want me to keep rolling here?
Yes, please.
Yeah, keep
Actually.
going. Yeah.
Okay. What's the one with Joe DiMaggio in it? Or
That would be Simon and Garfunkel.
no, the one where he just names everybody.
Oh God! I didn't start the fire. Oh.
I didn't start. Yeah, that one. Okay. I said it's still rock and roll to me. Okay.
Yeah. New York State of Mind.
New York State of, he played that at Syracuse actually. So yeah, look, I gotta say, and my in-laws watch this show. Okay. I turned it on that night. You would have thought I was the biggest Billy Joel fan. I researched him. I could tell you everything. I could tell you about.
I don't doubt this.
I could tell you about Christy Brinkley. I could tell you about like.
How many DUIs?
Bo, this was. I'm sorry,
No,
Les.
I'm
This
Les.
was this was like 2014. So
Okay.
I don't know what's happened since then. But yeah, I had every fact ready to go.
I had every fact ready to go, just like every good concert goer.
Yes.
There will be a quiz at the end.
Did you get them all in that night?
Oh yeah, it's like the time when you know how Father's Day is the U.S. Open in golf, and we were spending Father's Day with my father-in-law, and he loves golf, and I don't know anything about golf, and I mean I knew every backstory going on in that U.S. Open that year because I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, so Anthony Kim, and go on, you hear this, and I'm going on and on. So, anyways.
Great stuff. I hope you guys learned a lot about the Super Bowl.
And they let their daughter marry this annoying little know-it-all. You know?
This episode. We've got one more show to come this week. That'll be tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern. Deniz is hoping to make it here just in time.
Oh, is he's going to the game?
He's going to the game.
Wow.
He's flying in. He gets in a little bit before showtime. He's got a day pass to Radio Row, but there's no guarantees that he'll get here on time. I have word that we may be joined by Greg Rosenthal and Jordan Rodriguez.
Oh, that's awesome.
For a little sit down. That'll be fun. And we'll see what other surprises we get as we finally turn the page to the big game on Sunday. Thank you, Les. Thank
Good
you,
to be
Jamie.
here.
Thank
Great
you,
work
Zach.
this
Thank
week,
you, Julia.
Les.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, give it up for Les Bowen.
Get a
For
Die
the
Hard
week.
membership if you haven't.
Yes.
Great time to do it.
And that's all we got. We'll see you tomorrow. And as always, we love you.
City like the mayor.